Perfect transition into our next guest. One time for Olskool Ice-Gre, represent for Chicago. One half of Abstract Mindstate. I know I discovered you from the Scam Summit. I wasn't there, but I saw you take some pictures of some people that I messed with. So I was like, yeah, I mean, let me see what's good. And so I like what you are diving into, fam, and because we've been having the conversation now for quite some time around adult contemporary hip hop. So thank you, one for joining the call. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
what was your take on the LL album? Did you take a listen to it?
Oh yeah, the LL album is crazy. Like I listened to it. I listened to it like 4 times the first time I listened to it, and I mean, totally impressed, man. The dude is sharp as he ever was. I mean, lyrically, he playing with a lot of new flows, and I personally love the Q-Tip production. You know, the Queens Connect that they did. You know, I watched several interviews where L said that he had a dream that Fife came to him in a dream, and that's what inspired him to holler at Tip. But you know, they both from Queens, so you know, and Tip as a producer, most you know, some know, most don't, but Tip always was a super dope producer. So I just think it's crazy. The album is crazy. Like it's very consistent. I love it, top to bottom.
All right. So with that being said, talk a little bit about the I guess the efforts of what you're trying to push for at these award shows.
Right.
Because
right.
again, some people feel some type of way that the adult contemporary hip hop thing shouldn't be a thing, and then there's some people that are in favor of it. I'm definitely an advocate of it. Even beyond the award shows, I've been talking about the idea that like I feel it deserves a place like on traditional FM radio, and that's the tough part. You know, go ahead.
Yeah, that's one of my pushes. And actually, I just wanted to say that for people listening, this Olskool Ice-Gre with the long E sound, like Gre, not Gray. Even though I have on Gray, it's Ice-Gre. but anyway, all love though, all love. Everybody, you know, that happens often, so it's cool. But anyway, one of the things, like you said, one of the I guess components to me putting in such a hardcore effort to get this adult contemporary hip hop expansion on all award shows that have a category that they call rap hip hop. It's also radio too. I say the call letters ACH, adult, you know, just at radio stations. It should be call letters at radio stations. It should be a format. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people have had a lot of things to say, but come on, man, that's with anything. I don't take it personal. I don't get emotional because with expansion or anything close to something called change, some people freak out. Some people are stubborn. Some people they just don't want to grow or see things grow. And here's the reality of it all. We always holler this, man, let's just create our own thing, blah, blah, blah. I've read so many wild, interesting comments on social media since I've been on my run. And I just kind of laugh at it because first of all, the time that it takes to start, when you say start our own thing, we just do it ourselves. We always reaching out to other people. I just want to make it clear on your platform that I'm not begging anybody or the powers that be I'm not begging anybody for like to what I'm expanding. I'm not begging. My goal is to expand. I'm not even trying to change stuff because a lot of people are like, man, it's cool like it is. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, yeah. And if you don't consider yourself ACH or you not don't want to associate with it, just don't. It's almost like food or a store. Like you don't have to go to this store. You don't have to eat this food. Just choose a different food. But those varieties or those options are there for those who choose to eat a certain way or those who choose to buy clothing different from this store. I'm just trying to open up another store because everybody, shouldn't have to shop in the same store or eat the same food, so to speak.
Well, I think even beyond that, though, there's been the combo like, okay, how does like a new Common go up against, 310 Baby? Or, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like those metrics are just way different to where.
Yes. That's so that right there alone. So it started with my group. Like I say, I have to always stress that I've been using the term adult contemporary hip hop for over 20 years related to my own group's music, Abstract Mindstate, which you mentioned as we came into the intro. abstract. I always felt like our music was adult contemporary hip hop, and I put that label on it because we had this sound that always stuck close to the most traditional sound of hip hop. But it was something new, something different, something original. But at the same time, it held on to the true aesthetics of what we love as what we call real boom bap or traditional hip hop music. And I always felt that even then, like, you know, after we got brought back after 16-year hiatus, I felt like, man, we can't compete against the algorithm, like you're saying, of these popular internet or social media driven artists or rappers who are now filling up the rap hip hop category at award shows, radio stations, and stuff like that. So I was like, man, it's time for me to take this thing serious that I've been saying or calling branding my own group's music for so many years, and try to, you know, create change and expand. And my first step was I found out that I was able to do this, so I wrote a proposal, and that's why it's always attached to, yeah, I did the work, because I wrote the proposal and then I submitted it, you know, to the Recording Academy. I'm a voting member, you know, and I had their attention, you know, and they didn't move on it, and that's okay, because I don't really think it's over, and I'm not here to, you know, to bash the Recording Academy again. I'm a voting member and try to stay active in that world too. But I just kept going wherever else I saw a rap hip hop category, and then I presented it to something called the Hollywood Independent Music Awards, and they saw my vision. They accepted it. They implemented the category the same year I presented it to them, and I gave away, you know, I'm the one that gives away the award in that category. So it's pretty dope. So I'm just on, and then I found out that there's a whole lot of like-minded people that feel the same way as me, and why this is necessary, like yourself, that feel like this is a necessary expansion. I started finding out that it's a lot of legends and icons in hip hop that support me and actually openly show me love and start following me on Instagram, saying whatever you need, you know, bro, I'm in this with you. So I'm like, okay, this isn't just me, you know, who feel this way, because that's how I felt at one time. I felt like I was the only one that felt like this, and it was okay. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't my thing is don't get mad, do something about it, and that's what this is. That's what even me being on your show is, me doing something about this thing that I'm putting in the effort to make real across the board, you know.
But that's why I wanted to have you on, because we do a lot of talking. I mean, I think it's kind of the way of the world, right? Everybody will do a lot of talking, a lot of complaining, but not a lot of action behind it. So
not a lot of action.
I commend you for and even with this comment DNA, I don't think this creates a division in hip hop. I mean,
let me. I'm sorry. Let me speak to that division in hip hop, because that's another thing. I as it went away, I saw it. I saw the comment, and it was kind of fading away as I looked. But man, it's like people, before they dig into and that's why I'm on this platform. Information is key. It's about knowing a little bit more about it, so you have a better understanding. Because most people only look at these clips or these clicks and the little pieces that have been put together of the various platforms that I've been on speaking, and they just start throwing their opinions out there real strong. This thing is not about a division. This is about inclusiveness. It's about creating. At one point, I used this example on another interview I did. I said at one point in time, when they were building houses, it was only one door, and somewhere, somehow, some way, somebody said, we don't have to just have a front door. There can be a back door. And now it became two ways to get into this same space or this same house, right? So what I'm doing is expanding. It's not about like exclusiveness. I mean, excluding. It's about including, meaning like, okay, if everything is already like it is, I'm saying, okay, I'm not trying to fight that. That's one of those beat the dead horse kind of thing, and you just spinning the wheel, and that fight becomes long and crazy. Let this thing stay like it is, but let's expand it. Let's put another door on this house, right? So somebody like Common and Pete Rock don't have to compete against the same space of the artist,
Ice Spice or some shit like that. Yeah,
exactly. I mentioned a lot of those artists on a few other things. I'm starting not to want to say their names to like seem like I'm bashing them, because that's not what I'm doing. But when you got people like Sexy Red, Ice Spice, or all of them, and they fighting, Common and Pete Rock, Why should they have to fight for that space? I even say, why should somebody like Joey Badass or Vic Mensa or Chance the Rapper have to fight for that space? You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying if their sound, everybody from like Rhapsody and new artists like me, Lil Sims, I even say Doechii, people like that, why should they have to fight for a space because they're consider themselves rap or hip hop, and they can't beat that popular algorithm or this online success that usually only lasts a summer or two. You know what I'm saying? And this art, this traditional sound of hip hop, which is the foundation, can't get in. So it's not about an age. I have to always reiterate that and beat that horse. Adult contemporary hip hop, ACH, this thing that I'm out here waving a flag for, is not about age. It's about the sound of the music. It's about the sound. And it should be room for another sound, because when we're dealing specifically with award shows or radio stations, unfortunately, over time, things has developed and they push and crush everything into one. I mean, and people try to say it's been different subgenres, blah, blah, blah. No, it hasn't. I don't know what's wrong with us. It's never been other subgenres. That we created those other subgenres as a community, as hip hop lovers. We start saying East Coast, West Coast, down south, trap, drill. We gave it those names. It's not an official title or official genre or subgenre at an award show. It's not an official genre or format at a radio station. So that's what I've been, that's my thing. I'm the person that's putting in the work to make it official. It's no longer, like you just said, a conversation. It's no longer just talk. We gonna make this real. And I feel like everybody who feel the same way, my goal is to like galvanize and unite all of us. And I'm creating several things or working on several things that's next steps in this. But the first step is just getting the information out there and seeing just how many people feel the same. And so far it's been great, regardless to the naysayers or the people that's just want to jump online and be the first negative person to go against whatever, you know what I'm saying, or whatever it is. Most of the people, I don't take it personal, I kind of laugh, but most of the people who have such negative comments to say under the post that had me on it, because I can't help but see it, because some of them at me, I go to their page and they have like 1,300 followers or something like that. And I'm like, okay, you just being a troll. You're not even trying to do. I'm talking about progress, expansion, and inclusiveness. And you just being stubborn and ignorant online, because unfortunately social media gives everybody a voice and they shouldn't have one.
Feel that 100%. I was tripping in the chat. Shouts out to Quantum. Is this the second time you've been on the call? I guess we had you on before with the Abstract Mind, trying to remember.
Oh, Abstract Mindstate. Okay, Abstract. I've been on here with my group before. I don't remember being on. I don't remember being on here.
Quantum, you there? He might be tied up.
Okay.
But,
so they're saying Abstract Mindstate. My group, me and my partner EP, we were on here as Abstract before.
Possibly. We've been doing this for close to 2025 will be 5 years. So
okay,
we first started this thing when everybody got stuck inside. So this became a weekly thing. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, maybe we did. I know we had a nice little press run with the Abstract Mindstate album. Shout out to Dream Still Inspired. That's the record that brought us back at least brought me back to the forefront. It brought both of us back, but it brought me back as an artist, because I've been behind the scenes the whole time, working with several. So
word. You don't mind taking a couple questions? You good?
Yeah, super good. Yes, let's do that.
What's up, David? We can't hear you, man.
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Okay. Yep, I was saying peace. Peace, Olskool Ice-Gre. This is a very interesting conversation.
I agree.
Yeah, no, definitely. This kind of makes me think like back in the days when you had that conversation with the Backpackers, maybe like the Sound Bombing, the Lyricist Lounge. You had the Talib Kweli, the Mos Def, those artists, and it's almost like conscious rap, conscious rap, and drawing like a line in the sand, like between the conscious rap and the more mainstream. Would you say? Would you agree with that conversation?
No, because I would say no, but kind of, sort of, but no, because it can be a mainstream artist if a mainstream artist is getting played. Like for example, like at one point in time, Kanye was getting heavy rotation, right? So somebody would consider him mainstream, but his sound was traditional hip hop. So he would fall under the ACH format, in the way I'm approaching this. He would be adult contemporary hip hop, but he's also the biggest thing on radio, speaking in the time that it was. You get what I'm saying? So no, it don't have to be just like underground or what they call what we all labeled as backpack and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So and somebody I saw a post jump up, a comment jump up there, and it said about the magazine started the East Coast West Coast thing. We're not talking about beef. I mean just us as a community. And I mean you, David. I'm talking about Radio Raymond. Everybody who's part of the hip hop community. We branded these other genres. We figured out the names, or some of the people who started that music, like the younger cats in Chicago who started drill music, and the names trickle around. But again, it's never been a official, official name that was recognized at award shows or radio,
Yeah, I mean, I just, go ahead, David, finish.
Oh no, my fault. No, thank you for that. He's like an anomaly because when Kanye had things jumping off with the College Dropout and Through the Wire, he was on the radio, but yeah, he was conscious. So he was an anomaly. I can't think of too many artists that had it like that, where they draw the line between the mainstream, but yet was making conscious, substantial music and that wasn't, like hurting the community with all that mainstream and commercialism. But I'm glad you mentioned that. I can't think of too many artists. But,
you got Kendrick, and I'm not talking about all the hype now, but think about when he came out. He was one of those artists that was getting heavy love on radio, but was totally what I would call traditional hip hop or adult contemporary hip hop, because again, he just stuck to the boom bap aspect of rap and not necessarily chasing whatever the latest sound is to hype the algorithm, so to speak.
But see, I guess that's kind of where I have to draw back, and Raymond knows we've had these conversations before, is when do we draw that line, right? Kendrick is a perfect example because most people over time, and maybe because of an album like To Pimp a Butterfly, might put him in a category like that. But when he initially comes out, we're not putting him in a category like that. So where do we draw the line at this is contemporary versus this is not contemporary? And that's kind of where I sit with it. I think you start running into this kind of issue of, well, as long as there's not a certain sound here, then it's contemporary. Or as long as the content is a certain way, it's contemporary. What do you think is the way to draw the line?
And when you say draw the line, what line are we trying to draw? I just want to be clear.
So I was on a call, but you mentioned before I was on that call, you said the more traditional sounding, right?
Right.
Like I said,
traditional sound, yes.
When y'all bring up Kendrick, someone might be like, Kendrick has a more traditional sound now in hindsight. But when he initially came out, go ahead.
When Kendrick first came out, like we talking Section 80 and those kind of records, those are straight up like boom bap hip hop records, traditional hip hop, and he still does that type of music. It's just that as an artist, he's gotten broader. As an artist, he started experimenting with more sounds and being a little bit more creative. And if you think about it, when we first were introduced to rap music, or now I'm not going all the way back to, I'll say when rap music started to be the number one genre of all of them. We used to hear Nice and Smooth and Gangstar and all these people like that. So I'm not saying that it's only for them. I'm saying that's what I mean when I say the traditional sound. I'm talking about that good soulful boom bap, whether it be street or whether it be just a storytelling from a fictional or non-fictional standpoint. Because I even look at the guys like Griselda. The whole Griselda clique is adult contemporary hip hop. They got that real street, underground hip hop, and they're loved by the masses. They're not on your favorite radio station or anything like that. But I'm just saying, I'm very specific with my thing, and I'm talking about award shows and the format. So somebody like Griselda or somebody like Denzel Curry or something like that music can be awarded, recognized, and awarded because it's not up against the algorithm. It's about the sound that this is. Adult contemporary hip hop is about the sound.
But like I said, I definitely understand that. But something that blew up Kendrick was swimming pools.
Right.
At that time, people would not be saying that was. And understand, I'm 44, so I'm not saying this from a young mind. People would not have said that swimming pools was a traditional boom bap hip hop sounding song, and there are a lot of tracks on that Good Kid, Mad City, which, just by the way, because I want to be clear, that's the album that brought me over to him and turned my head around to him. But there are a lot of sounds on that are not traditional boom bap sounding. So that's what I'm saying. Like, when it comes to why I have an issue with calling this, and again, these are opinions. This is your mode. This is
no doubt.
Ninth Wonder's mode. Is Q-Tips. When I have an issue with it is because that's why I said, where do we draw the line? Because in hindsight, we can definitely say, yes, Kendrick is a person who is respected and traditionally done hip hop. But at the time, if this is a new artist that sounds like that, we don't necessarily say that. And so if we're trying to, if this person is, let's say swimming pools is a part of the algorithm, right?
Right.
Well, now he's entered the algorithm with that song, but now we've all heard and realized over the years, yes, this is a guy that's traditional, but at the time, we're not going to be calling that contemporary hip hop. And to me, that's where I don't agree with the genre or category, because you start to move into, well, where's the line drawn with this being contemporary hip hop? Where is it drawn where it's not? And I think it kind of keeps people from discovering things. We talk about the LL album. That LL album should be heard by everybody, but it shouldn't be presented to a younger ear as, well, this is an older cat, so you might not like it. No, go check this shit out regardless of
without a doubt.
And they know me in here. I don't agree with boom bap categories. This is hip hop, and I don't agree with those because I live in Houston. So just for context, I grew up around a lot of people who they categorize things and stay away from things and put things in a box, and it keeps them away from actually hearing. And then the internet comes around, and all of a sudden everybody's exposed to everything, and then they realize, oh my God, I actually do like a lot of this stuff that when the internet wasn't there, they wouldn't have liked. And so to me, a lot of these categories just kind of keep people away from things rather than bring them in.
Okay, so I'm doing exactly the opposite of what you're saying, because I keep noticing you using, the word divide or in the box and all of that. What I'm saying is that's what's going on already. And again, let me reiterate, I'm specifically talking about at award shows and radio. Like, I'm not talking about just across the board, period. I'm talking about being recognized at award shows. So what I'm saying is expanding the rap hip hop category. The word is expand, to include, not exclude, but include this traditional hip hop sound, because the entities that wave the flag or bear the rap hip hop category, they don't leave any room for any other sound but what's popular, what's trending, what's social media driven, what the algorithm is saying. When there's millions of other songs and artists that's amazing, that represents the culture, that doesn't even get a chance, like you're saying, to be heard. What I'm doing is actually what you're saying. I'm creating a space for everybody to be heard. I'm not, and see, the problem comes in when people hear what I'm talking about, and all of a sudden they run to thinking that because I'm adding on, I'm taking away. No, we're not subtracting here. I'm adding on. I'm saying let everything be what it is, but also, you know what I'm saying? Let's put this other space in there so somebody like Ice Spice and MC Lyte can be in the same room. So some conversations can start there. Somebody like Ice Spice can learn from MC Lyte. What do I do the last 30-something years in this? Well, here you go, young sister. And now MC Lyte is talking to her, or vice versa. MC Lyte say, man, listen, one of the things I love about artists like you is, what are y'all doing to get social media so crazy. I want to learn. And she'll say, oh man, this is what we do. Now a community is built because we're in the same room. But as long as these entities have a rap hip hop category, but can't even include any music that has that traditional sound that we love, that made hip hop what it was, because it's not part of the algorithm, or it's not popular, or whatever, then it doesn't even get in. So what I'm saying is, I'm not putting it in a box. I'm saying entity. Let's stop making rap hip hop as a category a box. So let me expand it. Let me put another door on here. Like I said, the analogy I used earlier, I said, houses only had one door at one time. Then they put a back door. Now we got side doors. Some people even got a door on their roof. They're getting crazy with it because there's more ways to get in that room. And I'm just trying to expand and create room to include, not exclude. So just because I'm saying adult contemporary hip hop, you don't even have to bear the name. There's some artists out there that's straight up what we would call hip hop or consider hip hop, that don't want to be called hip hop. They like, no, man, I'm not hip hop. I'm just music. And guess what? That's fine. That's fine. It's okay. Okay, you're just music. But somebody over here might say, hey, man, I'm adult contemporary hip hop. Great. There's a room for you in this house. You get what I'm saying? Because rap hip hop is the room. It's the room. It's already the room. It's huge. Rap and hip hop, that's the culture. That's the music that goes with the culture. It's already there. But what the problem that I see, where I come in and try to create, working to create change, is what's being stuffed in that room. It's one thing being stuffed in that room, and it's been one thing stuffed in that room for over 10 years now. I'm saying let's open this thing up, man, because there's more room for just what's moving the algorithm, for just what's popular, for just what's these major record labels think they know as hip hop. Because I'm sure everybody on this call is a better ear, or potentially a better A&R than most of the people with these major labels, or the couple of major labels that's existing, and there's 1,000 sub labels under those. But look at that. I just made an example right there. It's only about 2 record labels now, but it's 1,000 sub labels. So I'm saying, let's step in and create a sub label so we're not stuck at this one record label. It should be more than one record label, because this sound, it does have an audience. The traditional hip hop, the traditional sound of hip hop still has a huge audience. And the perfect example is this record LL just made, this record Common and P Rock just made, the records, the career that Vic Mensa and Chance the Rapper has had, what Usher, I'm a part of the Kanye success. My background, my foundation is putting in the work to help him become the college dropout. So I was a part of this work. I'm not a person that's just talking, but I am a person who is a part of the culture, who's been very active for a lot of years, even as an artist. And then even the same guy we talking about, well, yeah, he brought my group back in 2021, and his words were, abstract mind state is necessary. Y'all gonna heal people and change lives. I thought he was bugging when he said that, but now I'm touring Europe with Slum Village. Like, come on, like, it's room for a more than just the algorithm loving or popularly pushed sound. So I'm saying let's include, not exclude. So I'm definitely not speaking about a divide or drawing a line. I'm trying to open the line. I'm trying to push the line. I'm trying to take away the divides. I'm trying to get us out of the cubicle and just have us all in one room without division, without the borders and all of that kind of thing. That's what this is about. That I'm waving a flag for. That I'm putting the work in. It's not about division.
I mean, no, I agree. I think this creates an extension versus a division. You know what I mean? Which is, I've been heavy on it because, like I said, and it's weird because we had the artist Star Cardi on here before, and he was talking about people's attention spans. And it's like, I don't think it's necessarily all people's attention spans. I think it's maybe the younger people's attention spans, which is why some of the albums like LL and Common and other veteran artists, they don't appeal to them because either the songs are too long or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, there's the, I guess, the divide, if you will. And But I haven't thought about this at one time as a division of hip hop, and I don't understand why people are so adamant about that. Yeah. Like, do you think it's an ageism thing? Like, do you think it's just like hip hop doesn't want to be called, and we're not even calling it old, we're calling it adult.
No, you touched on it. Yes, and I'll say this too: being a part of the culture and a person that branded himself, his own music, adult contemporary hip hop. Some about the word adult scares a lot of people, and they think adult means old or whatever. It took hip hop 50 years to become 21 years old. Hip hop is now finally grown. And that took 50 years just for it to become 21. Now hip hop can really, go into spaces that it been wanting to go in because it's been putting hip hop has put in its 10,000 hours, so to speak. You get what I'm saying? So now at 50 years old, hip hop 50 is really 21 years old. So I'm saying, don't be afraid to be sent to adult, because adult doesn't make you a old or anything like that. We're just saying this sound, the traditional sound, is mature. The traditional sound is the parent of everything else that's going on. So it's and a lot of other genres. Again, I got to say, specifically, we're talking about award shows and radio formats. That's my thing. I'm with what I'm doing with ACH. Specifically in those areas, they have AC. They have a AC, attached to the other genres. You know what I'm saying? It'll be adult contemporary R&B or jazz or gospel or blah, blah, blah. But hip hop just gets this one thing that'll be rap / hip hop, and they got to stuff everybody in this little box, and it leaves no room for anything else. So again, I'm coming in with the expansion and, trying to unify people like yourself and all those who feel the same way. And we push this thing through and make it a real thing. And if an artist doesn't want to consider, here's my thing: if you don't want to be called adult contemporary hip hop, that's fine. But I bet you feel honored if you won an award in that category, whether you felt that way or not. And it is kind of a salute, and it does make you feel good because it was a community of peers that voted for you to be the receiver of that award, or for your music to be played at this radio station because it fell under a sound. It's not a forced thing. We're not saying, hey, you don't get a choice, artist, shut up, we put in your music. No, you don't have to say anything. We just let the sound dictate if you get recognized in that category. You get what I'm saying? It's not like you have to say anything or do anything. Just stay doing what you're doing, whatever that is. Just remain yourself and allow the music to fall in a space that won't get you boxed out in terms of recognition and awards, when it comes to your sound or your music,
Word. Hollygrove, you there?
Of course I'm here. I just kind of want to, touch on a couple of things. People are saying that, I do kind of feel like, the term old school hip hop, should be changed. Just like you said, it should be adult, contemporary hip hop, but we got to act like we're the only genre that does it. We don't. That's why they have oldie stations where they play nothing but 70s R&B music.
Yes.
That's why they have classic rock stations where they play rock and roll before the 90s. Yeah. We're not the only genre that does that, so we got to stop acting like hip hop is the only genre that put ages and age limits on people. And we're not.
Come on now. Talk to them.
So when y'all say this, y'all have to understand that they do that for a period. There's some people that don't like to listen to the newer music. My daddy is 74 years old. He don't like listening to this new stuff. But if I put on some old Snoop from 92, 94,
rocking with you.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So people do have to understand that, I get it that the term old school, you know what I'm saying, hip hop is a little offensive. So why don't we start saying legacy acts? You know what I'm saying? I use that term a lot. I don't say older rapper. I say legacy acts. You know what I'm saying? When I was on the radio, especially when I worked at 93.7 The Beat, because I worked at 93.7 The Beat where they were testing out, it was called Throwbacks and 93.7 The Beat, home of throwbacks and today's hits or something like that. And they would play a lot of classic hip hop songs. You know what I'm saying? The old Snoops, you know what I'm saying? Big Daddy Kane, stuff like that. But then they also play, a lot of new stuff. So we have to go ahead and maybe start pushing the AC hip hop or legacy hip hop or something like that. And if we start doing it more, you know what I'm saying? We'll get to it. I'm 40. I'm not as old as some of you all on this call, but I'm right here in between, the legacy acts and the new acts. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, it's a double-edged sword. I hear people say that, a lot of younger cats don't want to listen to him. Well, y'all gotta understand that, when Soulja Boy was making this run, and this is just like, I'm just giving y'all clear context so y'all can kind of understand why this newer generation feel the way they feel about this. Y'all got to remember that when Soulja Boy was doing his thing, just being a kid, 16 years old, not 19, not 20, 16, you had Ice-T talking about his music. So the other people that see Soulja Boy and look at how Soulja Boy's rise to fame was, damn near at that time a one of a kind. Nothing had happened like that before. And you got somebody like Ice-T, who's considered a legend of the game, and others talking shit about him. How do y'all think the people that's coming up under him are gonna look at it? So that's why a lot of these younger cats be like, fuck the old heads, respectfully, you know what I'm saying? But that's how they act. Because again, you got all these other artists every time. Hey, how do you feel about Lil Uzi Vert? And y'all talking, not saying y'all, but the legacy acts are talking shit instead of embracing it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's why you got the divide. And I get it, because at one point in time you were the hottest thing on the block and you're not that anymore. So, we in our genre, hip hop, have to understand and realize that, hey, sometimes we got to go and sit in the back and let these young cats do their thing. And I don't think that a lot of these older legacy acts understand that. So that's kind of why they get labeled old and old school, because you're not in touch. You're being a hater. You being the get off my lawn as artists. You know what I'm saying? And how would y'all feel if James Brown did that to y'all? Because a lot of people use James Brown sample. What if James Brown said, nah, fuck that. I don't like this rap shit. Don't use my music for that. It'd be a lot of classic songs that we've gotten out of the genre that we wouldn't have because of them James Brown samples.
That's real. Yep. Yeah. And speaking a little bit to what you were saying, it's also, I just want to reiterate and bring home the point, and thank you for that, because that was amazing. But I will also say that it's, again, when I stress the sound over the age, because I want to make sure that is clear, that your father, who may not want to hear these new artists, won't get a chance to hear Rhapsody, won't get a chance to hear Vic Mensa, won't get a chance to hear Joey Badass, won't get a chance to hear Corday, who are the same age as the artist that's playing that he doesn't want to hear. But because the algorithm and the format is dictating that this right here is rap hip hop and nothing else, he never gets to hear some of the artists that's exactly the new artist that's making the sound that your father would love. And that's where I come in, trying to, again, specifically to be recognized and awarded at award shows and radio stations with the call letters ACH. This is where my goal is to expand. So, okay, if we're going to get Lil Uzi Vert, we also should be able to get Tierra Whack. If we're going to get Young Thug, we should also be able to get some Griselda. If we're going to get, I can just keep going with the compare and contrast, but you get the point. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, let's open this thing up. And that's where I stand strong and saying, I'm not excluding, I'm being inclusive. We got to get some of us in the same room so the community of hip hop can be what we know it is. It's just one thing. It's one. And in order to be one thing, it does have to be, or it would be great and necessary if we had some expansion, because there's not any room right now. That rap hip hop category, that room has gotten so small that it's not leaving any room for growth. So I'm coming in to fight for expansion. Or work, I should say, not even fight, but work for expansion. And now we can get some more people in that room. Now we have some choices. Okay, if that plays, we know the next song is something we like, so that's what this is about.
Word. Well, listen, Gre, appreciate you coming on. Feel free to stay on. We gotta get into our next guest. Like I said, there's a little time conflict on my my side, but
Yeah.
Listen,
well, I'm in Australia, so
it's
it's like 7:45, and I've been out all night, but I wasn't gonna miss this, so that's why I told you, hey, I don't care what time it is for me, let's do it, So I not to be in and out, but I'm gonna definitely get off so I can relax, because it's not even 8 in the morning, and I just got in about 4 this morning. So,
word. Well, thank you, man, for tapping on. Like I said, I know you're moving around internationally.
yes.
I mean, shit, so they sound like this conversation, man. Like I said, it's so interesting how but we're gonna see how this plays out moving forward. Because for me, like I said, I agree. I think this creates an extension rather than a division. So, best to you, and like I said, more respect for the fact that you're putting your best foot forward and actually, making some action. Because, I've been a fan that, like, someone needs to take a chance on FM and let there be a station aside from just Sirius FM that we get these great records from our
exactly.
veterans. So,
there you go. Yes.
You know what I mean? So